Hey guys, how you doing? Today, a lot of readers send me emails or left their message under the YouTube is asking, is it still good, right, to buy TSMC, right? TSMC is Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing's short form, right, called TSMC, right? She has an ADR, right? You can buy directly from the Taiwan market, but then you have to convert your money into the Taiwan dollar, then before you can buy it. Or you can directly buy from the ADR, then using the US dollar. Actually, you buy ADR is a little bit better than you directly buy from the Taiwan market. It's because US dollar is a little bit more than Taiwan dollar in this 1 to 2 years, right? So, but doesn't matter, right? It doesn't affect much. So, actually, I can say that now TSM is actually a money printing machine. That means unless you are Apple or unless you are Microsoft, if you want to buy the foundry from her, then the price is very expensive. Very, very expensive. Then we know that the gross margin is nearly double, right? And then the net profit, net income margin is something like 40 to 50%, right? So that's the fact. Then we will briefly take a look on them because the quarterly report will be published, I think, in the early of July, right? But she has the monthly report, very short one, very, very short one. Then you can get it on the website, right? No matter it's in Chinese or in English, doesn't matter. She automatically translates for you, right? So you can take a look on the monthly report. Of course, then it's very simple, right? Very simple. And you no need to worry on the finance because TSM is very careful on the finance, right? She's a net cash company, right? Then we will briefly take a look on that. Or is it still worth for you to buy this excellent company, right? Actually, we know that for making the foundry, she is the number one in the world, and also, then she now has the biggest share among the world, right? Among the world, including China, right? Then our Falcon portfolio been making a new high, right? Since the portfolio been established, 109%. And then for any of you then want me to analyze on any stock, then you can leave your message under YouTube or you can directly email to me by Usstockmarketweekly@gmail.com. This is our coverage. TSM is a money printing machine now, right? For over 2 weeks, right? Once the U.S. stock market opened, then the Dow Jones dropped, right? Yesterday or in this past few days, the Dow Jones has been down for 300 points or more than 200 points. But no matter what, in the US afternoon, right, then it rises up. That means a lot of money is floating in the Wall Street or floating in the Wall Street, right? Then we can always see that the market rise up again. Of course, then it still drops a little bit, but still not drops 300 and 400 points. That means there may be a sign of money is going to flow into the US market, most probably in June or July, the traditional months, right? So we have to take a look on that. I'm not asking you to put your money in. I'm asking you to be careful on that, right? Especially on Nasdaq. You can see that in the past 1 week, right? Because of Apple, because of Broadcom, right? Because then of Adobe yesterday, right? Then the Nasdaq been rise up to 17,667, right? Remember, 1.5 years before is 15,000 already. It's 15,000 only, right? It rises nearly 20% in 1.5 years. It's for the index, not for the individual stock. So be much careful on that, right? Now the PE of Nasdaq is 41. I just saw it yesterday, right? And in the last four quarters, the average is 26, right? But you don't need to be panic at this moment first, right? Because when the profit of the company goes up, then the PE will go down. But if one day you saw that the PE is going to be 36 or 40, then you have to make your way out, right? That means the market, I don't know the size. Is it serious? I don't know, but must burst out, right? So be careful on that. This is our Falcon 350,000 portfolio. Then we have portfolio established new high is 109%, right? You see the bottom, we increased it by 36%, right? Some news, and Bank of Japan now today, it's yesterday, right? But nearly at the midnight, right? Set to reduce the government bonds purchase. Then very clear, right? Very clear. Then she want more money floating in the country, right? There's only one purpose, is to make the inflation better, right? So if they intervene with the currency, then the export will die. So if the export die, then it's very difficult to make it alive again. So I think now the BOJ is, okay, I want the inflation first. Better inflation, right? Better inflation then means more people is have the conviction to spend, right? Then before then, it's very difficult for BOJ to intervene a lot on the Japan dollar, right? Now, $1 is equivalent to 157 something on Japan yen. That is quite a high one, right? Because normally it's 153 only. So we still have to wait, right? For GameStop, right, for Warren Kitty, then it's not like 4 years before, right? Although the broadcasting is still out, then the share price, the stock price doesn't go up as before, right? But it doesn't matter, it's just some speculation, right? And Janet Yellen, we know that total frozen Russian asset is 300 billion US dollar, 300 billion US dollar. And now then they will start to use 50 first, right? I think it's reasonable, right? If anything that China do it on the Taiwan, then China will have the same fate, right? All the money, not only of the country, right? Every senior community members' money, then all will be frozen and used by the US, right? For all the US dollar or the euro or the pounds, right? Or Australian dollar, something like that, right? So it's one of the way that then you can threaten for the China not to make any bad idea on Taiwan, right? And Adobe, well, Adobe get quite better than expected result, and no matter is on the result and on the guidance is okay. I already said that. Then the market is quite misleading on Adobe. All right. You know why? After the Figma, right? After the Figma still is gone, right? Why Adobe still sinks is because a lot of comments that Adobe now will launch a position because generative AI. But if you use the Adobe software, Creative Cloud, something like that, you will know that you are not using the generative AI, right? If you use before, there are a lot of drawing, color filling the color, a lot of very technical one, right? Because my company uses before. Then not only for you to use the generative AI, that means you subscribe to Adobe, you pay the money, not for you to generate a picture when you key up some words, and not for you to generate short movie or short video when you generate some word. No, not that. You have some purpose to fill in. You have an assignment. You have, like our company's design, right? Then you will not just key in some words and then you depends on the AI. Right? It still depends on the human. So this is nonsense, right? This is nonsense. But no matter what, the Adobe stock price sinks, right? So actually, this is quite good illustration. Very good illustration that generative AI is not, if your company's software like Oracle, like Adobe, you have your special purpose and is very skillful, then no need to be afraid of them, right? I will analyze Adobe's quarter result in our Hong Kong program. Then we have a short discussion on TSM. Look at that in the ADR, right? I, by purpose, stop on the stock price of 62 because we bought at a few years before, we bought at 94, right? We bought on something on 58 and then we increased our holding on 90 something and then it dropped to 62, right? And we still hold it. I don't think that for this time, I don't think that you will buy it again unless there is 120 or 130, right? So holding power is very important. So you can see that in the past 5 years, the stock price been increased by 3.5 times, right? Very excellent result. And on past 1 year, increased by 60%. So is it sustainable? This is what people is asking for, right? We look at the PE is 33.87 and there is a small dividend on 1.4%. And the market cap is very big, 728 billion US dollar, right? This is what the central idea of I make this video is TSM is de-risking China invasion unless there is a war. Why? Because few years before, there's only one factory for making the foundry is in Taiwan. Now, totally changed, right? 2 factories now in Taiwan. 1 factory now in Japan is running, and there's 1 more, right? And at the end of this year, there is 1 in US, and there is coming to open another one in Germany, right? So 1 factory before, now is 3 factories working, and then very soon there will be 5 factories working. So you can see why the profit pumps up and the stock price pumps up, right? Unless there's a war. When there's a war, then everything, right, will become zero, right? That means there is no profit, or the stock price will drop down very quickly. No matter it is in Taiwan, it's in US, it's in Europe. When there's a war, all of them drops, right? Don't even think about it. Right? Don't even think about it, right? No matter what, because the investors frightened, right? Oh, there's a war. Then immediately dump out the stock first, like the COVID-19, right? You look back on the COVID-19, you will know that then it won't help. Even you have 1,000 factory, the investor immediately dump out the stock, right? So unless there's a war, right? So why is de-risking from China invasion? Then it's because it redistributed more factory and then outside of Taiwan. right? That makes, even if Taiwan's factories gone, she still have a lot of factories around the world, right? So that is called de-risking. And we can see clearly now, even US and China is decoupling on the AI, on the high technology. It's not affecting. They rely on the foundry of TSM, very clear, right? So the investor now is reduce their worry to a lot. Decoupling from China on the high technology already, but the demand is still there because of the AI, right? So you can see that now is a strong buy, right? Now is a strong buy. We take a look on that, right? This is after the first quarter, that means end of March. Then we can see that the revenue increased by home computing and then internet. Automotive is no increment, right? And then there is the DCE. DCE means digital consumer electronics, right? Digital consumer electronics, right? Then we can see that on the smartphone it drops. The growth rate drops. It's not lost. The growth rate drops. But home computer, internet, and on the digital consumer electronics, they all growth. And DCE growth more than 33%, right? We can see that for HPC and smartphone and the automotive, three of them makes the I think it's more than 88% income of TSM. And we can see that for the technology, right? Now, most of them is 5 nanometer, and then 7, and then 3 nanometer, right? Then you will a little bit surprised then why there is still 28 nanometer, why is still 16, because those are for China. Those are for China. Then China said that it can make the 7 nanometer, yes, right? But out of 100, maybe only 1 or 2 can be used. So they still need to buy from TSM because their good rate may be over 90%, right? So the main task is to make the good rate increase to more than 90%. Otherwise, then if you make 100, but only 5 of them are useful, that's no use because the cost is too high. And there are competitors, right? So that's the reason. You can see that at the right hand side. You can see that for the red one is the 3 nanometer now in use already, right? In use already, right? So you can see that it's increasing. It's increasing in end of 23 and then the beginning of this year, right? See the red one, right? And there is the, you can see that now, this is 1 month before, right? At the end of 2023, TSM has the biggest market share of the foundry market among the world is 57%. Down slightly, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Why it down? Because of China, right? Cannot sell to China, right? That's the reason. Then you can see that for the TSM foundry shares, right? Still okay, right? Going up okay, right? You can still always then you can check the quarterly report or monthly report from the website of TSM, right? You can do that, right? So you can see that on April, that means April of this year, compared to 1 year, compared to March, then the revenue increased by 20.9%, right? Very good. If compared to 1 year before, YOY, wow, increased by 59.6%, right? If you count from January to April, compared to 1 year before January to April, also increased by 26%. So we can see that don't need to worry about the net profit. Then they will not sell cheap unless you are Apple or Microsoft, right? Or Nvidia. Otherwise, then are very expensive. So no need to worry about that, right? So we can see that now the forward PE, that means based on the guidance, now the forward PE only 27, right? And the yearly increment of the revenue is 56%, right? That means now TSM not very expensive. But if on the stock price rise, right, then it may shake. It may shake at this moment because the stock price rises a lot. We know that the market cap of TSM is very big, right? So in the short term, it will shake. But in the long term, unless there's a war, right? Unless there's a war, then I think that it will have a good growth, right? So if you want to buy it now, doesn't matter. But you have to have some psychological preparation for that. You should be prepared. The stock price will be shaking. It may be half year. We don't know, right? And then it will rise up again, unless there's a war, right? This is what I'm thinking. When she drops to 62, this is what I'm thinking, right? So our bet is okay, right? We win it, right? So this is my comment or what I'm thinking on TSM, right? She is still the number one in the world, right? She has to keep this technology. She has to be the number one. I don't think that what Samsung, Intel, then they can do it. Nonsense. You do it first, right? You do it first, right? Before blowing yourself, right? Before boosting yourself, then you prove it to us first, right? Okay, thanks guys for watching, and then like, comment, share, and subscribe is welcome. And then please press the bell icon next to it. So whenever there is new video, then you will know it, right? Okay, thanks guys for watching, and then I hope everyone have a very peaceful weekend. See you guys on next Friday. Bye bye.